The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Nico De Haan with my friend here, Paige Clarke. How you doing,
Nico.
Paige?
I'm good.
Hey, we had a great show last week, didn't we, with Nora?
Oh, I love Nora.
Nora Gagatis was on the
amazing.
show, Primal Body, Primal Mind, really giving us a lot of information about a fat-based diet.
Her book is just a mainstay for learning how to live a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah,
eat the right foods that we were designed to eat.
Exactly, and it's actually was the book for me that turned me around to thinking about fat as something really good for us. Before I knew that carbs, especially things like cereals and of course sugar and those things aren't good for you. But I really didn't know the depth of how great fat is and that we need it as a fuel.
And I just think that all of these people that are bringing this information to the forefront, stuff that our ancestors knew. The wisdom of the ancestors.
Yeah, and one of the things that she mentioned, of course, that Lucy, one of our farthest distant relatives that are closest to our lineage, was actually making tools, and this came out just in the last 18 months or so, that they were making tools specifically to get at the bone marrow, the fat in the bone. Real important stuff.
And that makes me think about fall coming up and making some healthy bone broths.
Yes, me too. And I'm thinking about making my stew with the beef, the natural beef. And
of course, it's still 90 degrees here. But,
yeah, I know, but I was thinking about that constantly. And the other thing that was kind of shocking to me, and I hadn't thought about it that much, but I started doing a lot of research, was about the radiation in our oceans. And I have a newsletter coming out, folks, and I'd like to remind you, first of all, it's 877-927-6648. If you'd like to give us a call and, talk about anything or talk about what we're talking about. And the radiation is really becoming a problem. Just last week, last couple of days, the government of Japan has announced that the three of the reactors there did melt down completely.
Those that were in the alternative media were saying this from the beginning. If you and it would be so hard for me because I read different sources of news.
Yeah.
You and I kind of read some similar sources.
Yes.
And then people in my family and friends would look at me like I had horns on.
Well,
what are you talking about? I didn't hear this on the news.
Yeah, and I still hear people in different media and different podcasts saying it's it's not something that's really impacting us. But I really do believe.
I wonder why the Bush family owns all that property in the Southern Hemisphere.
That makes you think about that.
They're going
everybody's
away to
going Uruguay, right?
Right.
Yeah. But it really started me thinking. So I started digging up the articles I thought were real prevalent and give you the most information. So that's going to be in next week's newsletter.
And I can help out a lot, too, because I have protocols to help people with radiation.
Exactly. So, once, of course, we're still eating and we're still getting stuff that may be detrimental to our health, but there are ways we can cleanse ourselves, and that's going to be in the newsletter, too. So we're going to have both sides of the story.
Well, the more that we decrease our intake of processed, packaged, boxed, and bagged food, and our body doesn't have to deal with those insults and those things, then our body's running more efficiently. And there's, like you said, we were designed to be healthy without extraneous products.
Yeah, and you always say, too, that our body has a struggle right now on its hands because of not just because we're eating badly, but because the whole digestive system is out of whack. So what you're doing in your practice really is trying to bring this back to equilibrium where your body is really running efficiently.
Well, we never got an owner's manual.
Yeah.
None of us got an owner's manual on
Sure.
how to run this body. And, what we realize is that it's a very complex system, and it goes beyond this physical body, and that we're electric and we're light. And I love the fact that what I'm doing is a marriage between ancient wisdom, ancestral wisdom, and quantum physics.
And I guess the owner's manual is really what our ancestors were actually doing.
Yeah.
They were specific. And now the evidence is really in that every indigenous people who are still living primal are going after a fat-based diet. And all our ancestors always went after that fat-based diet. And we have in our modern age switched to that sugar or sucrose diet where we're running on sugar, and no wonder everybody's going crazy, because it's like a fuel that you don't want in your body, because first of all it causes cancer. And Nora had said last week that cancer doesn't live in a body that's burning fat.
No.
If you're not consuming anything with sucrose in it, you're not going to get it. And there are ways of getting carbohydrates in your body and still being healthy. One is fiber. Even though we don't need fiber, it might not be essential.
Well, this brings up something that I think there's a little sleight of hand going on here.
Okay.
And I'm not going to get into it today, but just as an example, the whole alkaline craze where everyone's running around buying alkaline water, but if you understand that ideal pH is actually slightly acidic. Okay, but
slightly.
Well, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that then we've got people, if you look at the old research, they talked about the state of alkalosis being an indication of degenerative disease.
Yes.
So it's both. You have to have a little bit of both, and the balance is in between, but
well, our body, I think, has a good balance itself if it's allowed to run optimally.
Exactly. And the body does, if we give it the fuel that it was designed to have. And that's really what we've been uncovering.
Yeah.
And, we talk more and more. You've got a grains article you wanted to go over.
Yeah, Tommy O'Brien sent me this, the son of our leader, Tom. And it's, it really talks about grains and the surprising ways grains are destroying your brain. So not only is it destroying your whole system of digestion, but also on how we act.
Well, really what it is I want to cut to the chase and kind of make things simple. The gluten that we have today, as we've learned from some of the works like Wheat Belly and other books that we've talked about here, is an inflammatory product. And the inflammation is causing problems, and the inflammation is what creates the opportunity for nanobacteria to go into places, and the inflammation and the nanobacteria create all the diseases. This is my feeling.
Yes, it is, and the research really does prove that out.
Whether it's arterial sclerosis or cardiac disease or pancreatic disease or diabetes or problem with our brains. I really like this
ADD,
article. Yeah, all of the irritations, inflammations. Parkinson's. It's
all the autism, all these things are connected to our bodies being polluted by something.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I was having this conversation this morning in a meeting I had this morning with someone who, wanted to remind me again that it was important to keep that cholesterol level down.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's important to keep the cholesterol levels balanced in a healthy ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
And, that in fact, cholesterol is there usually trying to repair the damage done by sugars and nanobacteria.
Yeah. What I liked about this article that Tommy sent me is that it has some things that you can do specifically to reduce problems with your brain, like Alzheimer's and disease.
So what can we do?
Okay, so adopt a dramatically lower carbohydrate diet, naturally. And when we say carbohydrates, we're talking really about all the refined stuff that's in boxes. And I watched a great documentary yesterday. I had a couple hours, and it was about an hour and a half. It was a BBC documentary on how did this grain get in our diet? And it was really about cereals. And these two brothers, the Kellogg's brothers, one was a advertising genius, and one was a health nut but a vegetarian. And he said, we've got in Battle Creek, Michigan, we had all these cornfields, and he says, I found a scientist who's a friend of mine, and he knows how to extrude this stuff, put it under high heat, and flake it out, and then we can put it in boxes. The stuff will last forever, so we don't lose anything. And that's how all this stuff was created. And later on, because of the bland taste, they started putting sugar into it.
Yeah, the Kellogg family, he was a health nut. And did you know that the Kellogg Mansion is right in Dunedin on the water?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, Dunedin's a little town just north of us.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, and one of the segments in there was talking about McGovern and Kennedy in the 60s putting up a big stink that this stuff is really not nutritious. So Kellogg started adding the vitamins into it. So now you get fortified cereals.
Fortified with iron filings and coal tar derivative vitamins, synthetic vitamins.
In fact, McGovern had said in the segment that if you take the cardboard box and put sugar on it, it's more nutrition than what's in the box. So he's trying to make a point there.
It's a shame that some of these people that actually, didn't they try to assassinate him? And all the people that kind of spoke up about stuff. It didn't say, yeah. But so number one, adopt a low-carb diet.
Well, let me go one step further, because then back in the late 70s, there was a couple of brothers in England. And they were producing cereals, and he says, we're scraping all this bran stuff off. He says, this is the stuff that nobody really wants to eat. He says, why don't we market this as health food and say that's how the bran flakes came out. So they're using the discarded parts that they were actually scraping off to make what they thought was decent food.
Isn't that special?
Yeah, so the wheat germ, all this stuff. I mean, you usually start going, and it was really advertising that got this into into the feeling that everybody, hey, this is healthy for you.
And the same thing with the whole cholesterol hypothesis, Ansel Keys, the whole idea.
Yeah. And
it's
the yogurts
always,
and all that was all the same. All these little health foods in there that are really no good for you, still in the package. That's advertising is what's doing it to you. We're being brainwashed.
Yeah, so anything that's kind of mass-produced in that kind of way, you can kind of just follow the money trail and realize that that's not a health food today.
Yeah. So going on,
add more fat.
2, add more fat. Fat is a super fuel for your brain, protecting and nourishing delicate brain cells. Good choice is extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, grass-fed beef, and wild-caught fish.
So,
in southern oceans, I guess.
Right, exactly. Exactly. We've got to be concerned about that. What we have talked to you all about before is there was really a medical doctor whose husband succumbed to Alzheimer's at the young age of 53. She started taking the time to see just what is it that the pharmaceutical companies are researching to help this terrible disease. And lo and behold, when it really got down to it, it was coconut oil. Of course, they didn't want to, let that get out because we can all now, buy coconut oil. And it's just a healthy thing to do. Yeah, the saturated fat is what we need to make healthy brain cells. It's healthy fats. Yep. And we want to say it's a combination of the healthy fats. We need a little bit of the monosaturated fats with the olive oil. Remember, not heated olive oil. Okay. We need the coconut oil, medium chain triglycerides, MCT oil. And we do also need the DHA, which is the omega-3, the very important, delicate fraction to help make those to really work on that memory part of the brain. Yeah,
because you told me a long time ago that DHA is the important one, where the other one is actually made from that.
The EPA, right. And the DPA, we can convert DPA to EPA, but we cannot make DHA from EPA. So if you start looking at your bottles that you're buying from all your stores, guys, you're going to look at the amount in your omega-3 oils, and you're going to see that the majority of it is EPA, the version that does have some benefit in lowering inflammatory levels, i.e. we believe it does, but it could also be causing inflammation because we know that some of these fish oils are rancid.
Exactly. So folks, give us a call. It's 877-927-6648. Please pick up the Health Signals newsletter. I'll tell you, the next one is really going to be worth you getting the first issue if you haven't subscribed.
Get on board.
Yeah, get on board, folks. We'll be right back.
You've heard Nico De Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. TFNN is having an open house in the Tiger's Den for 2 weeks, and the best part is that everyone is invited and you just have to be a member at TFNN. The open house in the Tiger's Den has already begun and will last through our week-long virtual trading competition, which ends September 13th. Use this time to exchange trading ideas with other traders in the virtual chat room and discuss trading strategy while gaining high-definition access to all TFNN hosts, charts, and screens during their live daily programs. If you're not already a member at TFNN, then the easiest way to become a member is by simply signing up for our $10,000 virtual trading competition, and the rest takes care of itself. In order to register for TFNN's virtual trading competition, you have to sign up by Thursday, September 5th at noon, and that's right around the corner. So don't wait and sign up now. For all the information and to fill out your entry, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN's open house in the Tiger's Den for 2 weeks only, ending September 13th. Sign up today.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And, we get a lot of letters and emails from people and comments, and we really do appreciate it. It really helps us with the show. And if I don't get to them immediately, I'll probably get to them later on. And I got some great articles on sugar and wheat and all this stuff. And
but we really do like your feedback, because it helps us decide. There's so much in the news, and we kind of funnel it down, and there's short amount of time to cover everything, but send us what you want to talk about. We'll research it, we'll vet it out, and we'll bring it to you.
One of the comments I got from Ray, I spoke at the Washburn School, which is a local school here in town, and they were, I think, high school. Mm-hmm. Pretty much high school. Yeah. And it says, Ray, Nico, just want to let you know that since your lecture at Washburn, there have been 2 families who have gone full-on paleo. One of the kids at school has lost over 60 pounds and has changed the life of his entire family.
60 pounds?
Yeah,
what
isn't that
an
amazing?
Influence. Mm-hmm.
A lot of the other kids and families that are organic, and mostly paleo, etc., so it reinforced what they were already doing, so thanks again. And Paige and I will be speaking at Nature's Food Patch, which is our local great...
Wonderful.
Yeah, fantastic health food store. They don't do any GMOs, and they really do research on this.
And better than that,
yes,
is they don't irradiate their food.
Yeah. So.
And that's, we've talked about radiation. I mean, a lot of people are walking into stores like some of these really big natural food stores that we know of, and they're spending the money for organic, but they've been irradiated so that they don't have loss, and you've just kind of lost some of the benefit of that food.
Yeah, you sure have.
Except that I have a little tool that helps, and a little trick that helps with that.
We'll talk about
that.
Like
we'll talk about that when we do our radiation thing. What are our little toys?
Yeah, so One of the will be Thursday, next Thursday, which will be the 5th. Yeah, the 5th of September. We'll be speaking at Nature's Food Patch, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Today?
That's what we're going to be talking about. What actually is health food today, and that's the kind of information you're going to get there.
So if you're local,
here.
Come see us. What time is it? What time is it again?
It starts at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and then there's questions and answers afterwards. I'm going to start the conversation. You're going to pick up halfway through, and we're going to blend together real nicely, like we do here on the show.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
Folks, you can call us at 877-927-6648, and please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, too. Now, one of the things that I was really interested in, too, was this article on biotech's BT technology may transform benign insects into pests. And the whole article here is really talking about that now some of the benign pests are getting much more aggressive because of this BT toxin being in the plant.
Well, of course they are, because the benign pests... They adapt. And really what pests are, if you have food growing in an organic medium, a soil that has the proper mineral mix, then they're not going to be eaten by pests, because pests are there to help get rid of an inferior product.
And that makes so much sense. So these benign pests are having trouble, so now they have to adapt, so they have to get more aggressive to do what they naturally would do.
I'll take that the benign pests are turning into pests because this is a really inferior product.
Well, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
they're...
Exactly.
Shouldn't have said that. Sorry, producer. But another thing, I was reading this article in Smithsonian about this lady who was down for the last 20 years down in Brazil, and she's studying the primates down there in this one section north of Brazil, and she's been watching these things, and they're very, very congenial animals. In other words, they make love every day. Everybody, they have buddies, the male, very touchy. They're always hugging and everything like that. They share all their food, and noticing now as the habitat gets smaller that they're changing their habits. And the whole theory behind this thing, and now a lot of anthropologists are looking at this factor that the conditions change the behavior of primates, and also, of course, our
extrapolating it into ancestors and into us.
Yeah, because when the situation changes, we become more aggressive because we need food, or we need our social interactions changing to adapt.
Adaptation.
Stress adaptation. That's a great point.
So we could kind of take this into, if you looked at what the plan is to kind of consolidate people into smaller areas, scarcer resources, more people competing for the same resources.
And what we do as human beings is now we set up these larger groups of trying to control us, which is the larger governments. See, I believe that smaller governments is where it's at, and the heck with the big ones. Yeah, small tribal type of things where we can decide on things and we can get things done and do away with the money system. Sorry, financial people, that everybody is just going out and helping each other. And I think that's the way to do it. And there's several people like the Zeitgeist movement and like Michael Tellinger in Africa doing it, coming up with contribution type style of communities. So a lot of people are thinking about that. And I think really this is the next step for mankind, is to become less aggressive, more cooperation, and we'll see what happens, huh? That's all we can do. We'll be back in a few minutes, folks. 877-927-6648. And please pick up our Health Signals newsletter. You're going to get a lot of great information there. We'll be back in a minute.
Andy Hecht, the host of the Commodities Hour, recently launched his newsletter service, the Technomental Commodity Report, and only 6 weeks in, Andy has already recorded a triple-digit winner. Andy advised his subscribers to purchase a long-term call option at 46 cents on July 11th, and then sent out a special update Friday, August 16th, advising his subscribers to close that position at $1.40. That's a 204% profit in just 5 weeks. The Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht is released each Thursday morning, and right now you can get a month-long free trial to this subscription while locking in the low introductory rate of only $39 a month. Andy Hecht has been a commodities trader for over 3 decades. Let his experience work for you. Sign up for your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report today at TFNN.com. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter, Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle with Paige, Clarke, and Nico De Haan. In just a minute, we're going to go talk to Al in Boston. But before we do that, Nico, don't you have something special going on?
Yeah, we have the Tiger's Den open house, and this is really cool. We got an open house for 2 weeks in the Tiger's Den, and it's a competition that you can win. They're giving away $10,000.
Wow,
Paige. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I'd get in that den and start prowling.
So you can use this time to exchange trade ideas with other traders in the chat room and discuss trading strategies while gaining a high definition and access to TFNN's host charts. So you can look at all the charts that's going on there. So really good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So hey, Al in Boston, are you there?
I am.
Hello.
Welcome to the program.
How are you?
Doing great.
You got a question about fish oil?
I do. When you were just talking about it about 20 minutes ago, did you say it was the DHA that was important or the DPA?
No, the DHA.
There's the DPA in the one I got also, so I wasn't sure which one you said.
No, we're talking about DHA, which is actually the part of the fish oil that actually is very helpful in rebuilding cells and for memory and brain function. We really want to see pregnant mothers and young children get a lot of DHA. And what I was saying is that the EPA is the fraction that can actually have benefits for inflammation, or even actually some studies have showed it improves mood a little bit, but it's not the powerful force. We can convert the DHA.
So your body automatically will give you what you need from the DHA, so that's more important to look at it. And Nora Gagatis last week said that the only company really that she trusts in the United States is Biotics
Research.
And they're really inexpensive. They're not as, you for $16 or $17, you can get the monthly supply of that. The other way to go, of course, is going for the krill oil, which is, I think, better.
And I also like some forms of a fermented cod liver oil that we may be trying to bring in, because we're creating a resource page for you guys, because we've had a lot of callers and a lot of people saying, hey, where do I get this? And we've decided we need to kind of slow down and try and create a resource page for you guys, that when we have the show, we say, go to the resource page, your newsletter subscriber, and you can take advantage of some
of the
stuff.
I think we have that. It should be up by the 1st of October, so we got another 6 weeks or so before that's actually all put together. But
So, Al, the thing I want you to realize is that we really want to start looking at the quality of fish oils, and you don't have to mention what your brand is, but what we do know is that many of these fish oils are sterilized and so forth, that creates a damage to the fats. And, we've talked over and over again how we don't want fats damaged, right? How fragile fats are.
Yeah, keep them in the refrigerator because the heat is not good for them. And here, certainly in Florida, when they're shipping these all over the place in these hot UPS trucks, I mean, you can see where this stuff can go bad.
I took a look at mine. I do take one, and after you said that, and they have 600 milligrams of that DHA, and they only have 250 of the EPA.
Well, it sounds like maybe you've got one
that sounds like it's pretty good, right?
It does.
Sounds real good.
Sounds like a better one. I don't know what the brand is. You want to make sure you're, like you say, you keep them refrigerated, and just know this is a transition. We're learning as you all are. All of us know in our gut that we've done terrible things to the ocean waters, and many people are looking. I personally use, the brand that I use is Premier Research Labs in my office. It's a DHA that is obtained from algae. There's low contamination, because remember, as they obtain these fish oils up the food chain,
the larger fish are compromised because they eat all the smaller fish, and it goes up the food chain like that.
And so the algae and the krill are great sources on a lower food chain. They're obtained from cold waters at either ends of the poles. But we're going to be getting more and more. Not everyone has the same opinion on fish oils, and like Nora shared with us, she's looking at all of her seafood choices in the Southern Hemisphere. I know a lot of people are feeling that way. People who once said
the one I have is. It's strictly from New Zealand. It's shipped. It's actually shipped from New Zealand.
Oh, your fish oil is shipped from New Zealand?
Yeah, that's probably the best choice there is.
It does have a ton of. I think it's that ratio of DHA to EPA.
Does it have green lip mussel oil in it by chance?
I didn't see that as an ingredient. No.
Well, that might be a good.
But it's called Extend Life, the name of the company.
Extend Life. Well, we'll vet it out a little bit. That sounds great. So again, think about that.
Let me just throw this at you too. I called them on this when I heard you talk about it should be refrigerated,
right?
And it says it does not have to be refrigerated right on the bottle here. I actually called them up in New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
And I said, how come you're the only company with fish oil that it doesn't have to be refrigerated? That claims it doesn't have to be refrigerated, and they said it's because the high amount of DHA that they have in there.
I think it's true. When we say about
you think I still should refrigerate it?
Well, it depends where you live. If you live in Florida and you don't have air conditioning, I would say so you really have to look at it. If you're in the Midwest and it's 100 degrees, you're going to compromise that product.
Yeah, we're not saying that it's something that. It's just a good habit. We're used to living in Florida where, it gets a little hotter. But he's probably right. I mean, most fish oils don't say refrigerate this. Some of the liquid oils will say refrigerate after opening. It's like good hygiene, kind of,
Yeah,
we just kind of, it's a little precautionary thing. It gives them a little longer shelf life. But it sounds like you've made a good choice, and that's definitely something that, we can all share this information that we got from brilliant Nora Gagatis about, the idea that maybe we want to look for pure water, for our fish, and it certainly struck me as an important thing. Whereas I had always referred people to places like, what's the salmon
Premier?
place? No, the salmon place, wait a minute, Vital Choice Seafood, which I still think is an absolutely wonderful source for wild-caught salmon and so forth, in light of what a lot of people are coming out and saying maybe we really need to look about what's in the waters, the corexit and the radiation. It may change where we choose to get our stuff. So,
Thanks a lot for the call, Al.
Oh, have a great holiday.
Okay.
And I love your show.
You too.
thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
I talked to my fish guy.
Uh-huh.
I said, okay, you know, I just had this whole thing about people being concerned about fish. I said, where do you get your salmon from? He says, don't worry, Nico. He says, I get it from Scotland in these real deep fjords. And what they're doing is they're farming the salmon, and the salmon go all the way upstream, but they don't go out in the ocean because these fjords are so deep, and their natural food, krill, that they eat, that's what they're eating there in the fjords. So I said, okay, give me a double order.
There you go.
So.
Well, maybe we'll work on that and make some recommendations of where we might get some seafood from the Southern Hemisphere. That might be a good homework assignment for us. And if any of you all have ideas, let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
I also wanted to make sure I addressed a question that Alan sent me. He was asking me, I had made a comment in the last couple of weeks about raw cream. I think many of you know that I really like raw cream that you can get from your local farmers co-ops. You have to, again, look for where you can get raw milk in your area. In our state, it is available. We won't find it in our stores, but we find them at co-ops for pet food. And but I also made the comment about heavy whipping cream. So I would just want to clarify, in my perspective, if you are going to use dairy, I want it to be fermented and or raw, okay? And I prefer the raw dairy. And do keep in mind, as you all know, we love our Tiger Brew, which we use grass-fed butter.
Right here.
A little bit of coconut oil. I add a little bit of stevia. And
I use MCT oil.
Yeah,
also.
okay, MCT oil, coconut oil.
Change.
So,
Yes.
you know, in effect, guys, butter and cream are one and the same, more or less. You know, butter is made from cream.
Yeah.
So, in a pinch, if I need cream, I will buy heavy whipping cream. I will go to a store. I will real quickly try and catch my next raw food co-op so I can get my raw cream. But I will look for one that does not have the additive Carigian, if I'm saying that right.
I think so.
It's a preservative that has some not so great research behind it. So if the brand, even the organic brands, have that, I avoid that. And the other reason I like heavy whipping cream is it doesn't have any sugar.
Yeah.
You know, half and half.
And there's nothing better than blueberries and heavy whipping cream on top of it.
It's the best, guys. I mean, have some berries with some cream.
And you can put in your coffee, too. I mean, there's a lot of choices you can make, and coffee is really good for you if you get it organic. Make sure it is organic. Make sure it's a dark roast. And there's a lot of good companies out here in the United States that get it from all over the world. And, I mean, coffee and teas and things are really good. And one of the things, you know, I was researching, too, just before we finish up with the what you were talking about, is miso. There was a hospital back when we dropped the bomb on Nagasaki that was feeding all their patients miso soup, which is a fermented soy.
You know my little sniglet, miso and tempeh are okay.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
miso
You've
and
got all these
tempeh.
little-
Well, that's
I like
what I
it,
teach
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Miso and tempeh are okay. Those are the fermented forms of soy. But everyone who's going out to their sushi restaurants and they think they're being healthy by eating edamame, not so. Edamame is regular soy. It's not fermented. Soy is not a toy for the girl or the boy. So you remember that.
And so I'm having miso every night. I love miso. I first got it when I was going to college in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and there was this little place just off of campus that on the main street that was called the Indian Summer. You go in there in the morning, the cold winters, and have my little miso soup. Yeah, and it was just fantastic. And so when I have it in the evening, brings me back to the college days. What could be better?
So I brought it up again about fall. Okay, so think about this, guys. Making your traditional bone broth.
Oh, yeah.
And then adding a dollop of the miso. And then you have your seaweed bone broth soup. I mean, how much better can that get?
Can't get
I think that when it gets cold here, we should come in with our mugs of our bone broth.
Let's do it.
Our beneficial broth.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about this Diet Coke stuff.
Well, I wanted to talk about what's a healthy drink. And I think I just kind of topped on one of them, which is, you know, our Tiger Brew. the Tiger Brew is a great way to get these healthy fats that we've been talking about today into your system. You know, a lot of people have the idea they need to take healthy fats, and they're looking for, you know, ways to swallow their capsules and stuff and find the right foods. But using the Tiger Brew, which is a healthy coffee, which we get a lot of antioxidants, you add the grass-fed butter, you add the MCT oil or the coconut oil, a little stevia, make it sweet. It's great. But you know what? Coca-Cola and all these other companies are getting really worried about the lack of interest in their diet sodas.
Yeah, so they're going to start pushing this stuff, aren't they?
And they've got a big campaign being tested in Chicago and Atlanta, almost being presented like a full-page advertisement, kind of to make it look like a public service announcement that aspartame, the artificial sweetener aspartame, is really okay and healthy for you. Folks, don't buy it. You know, diet sodas are very unhealthy drinks.
Even worse than the real things, which is bad enough.
Right, and you've probably heard of it. So if you accidentally have to drink a soda, you know, try and make sure it's one from Mexico or another country where they actually use cane sugar as opposed to high fructose corn syrup or aspartame or Splenda or anything.
Yeah.
You know, there's a tremendous link between the aspartame and weight gain. It's not a healthy alternative, folks. Look at, you know, when you're drinking foods, look at them as a way to get you know, nutrition squared. I'm picturing that energy equals MC squared, but I'm thinking, you know, calorie restriction, eat less food, but make the food that you eat really count.
Yeah.
And I really feel that our Tiger Brew is a great way to get nutrition in.
And all the food that we eat these days, we're eating a lot less being on a primal diet. You'll find that I'm eating 3 or 4 ounces of meat instead of the 6 or 8 ounce or even more. We're eating less vegetables. We're eating less everything. And the bonus is that you're not going to be hungry because you're so satisfied with the fat that you don't eat the potato chips, you don't eat the corn chips, you don't eat the peanuts and all that stuff.
You know, you don't even want
No,
it.
you don't.
I go into some grocery store sometimes, and I'm walking down, and I have this feeling of just kind of a lightness, like, God, you know, I don't need all this stuff. I'm really getting where I can zoom in and out.
Yeah.
It doesn't even appeal. But, you know, talking about the amount of meat, you know, people automatically think when we're, you know, recommending a paleo or primal diet that we're like, you know, Fred Flintstone with a big, you know, brontosaurus. you know, as Nora teaches us in Primal Body, Primal Mind, most of us don't need much more than maybe 6-8 ounces
a day
of protein a day. Now, keep in mind, that's all sources of protein. So, you know, reduce that down to a dinner out on Friday night. You know, you order a filet that's 8 ounces. As far as I'm concerned, for me, that's breakfast, and you know, it could be a take-home for an early morning. I don't like leftovers left for hours.
Or feed it to your pets.
Or just split it. Just split the entree, you know, with someone else. You know, it's really 2 to 4 ounces is all we need. We need good digestive support. We need good hydrochloric acid so we can break it down, cleave the minerals.
You got it nailed there.
But yeah, I want people to realize that it's not about eating a lot. But, you know, just kind of finishing up that, I saw this about how Coca-Cola is really trying to say diet soda is fighting obesity. We know that's not true.
Yeah.
You know,
in fact, I can make a statement here. Okay, anything that they advertise in food, 99.9% of it is garbage, folks. If you have to advertise it, I mean, good food you don't need to advertise at all.
Hey, remember too Nora's story? I like to, you know, she ate butter for 40 days and lost 40 pounds.
Love it.
Drink that Tiger Brew.
You got
it's
that
better.
right.
That's your best weight loss.
Got one more segment coming up, and you still have time to call us at 877-927-6648. Pick up that Health Sickness newsletter during this break, folks. You're going to have the next one is going to be fantastic. We'll be right back.
On Wednesday, August 14th and Thursday, August 15th, Tom O'Brien advised his Gold Report subscribers to close out 6 of their 9 open positions, all winning trades ranging from a 10.6% profit to an incredible 48% profit in just one equity. And all 6 of those winning trades had been initiated no earlier than just the previous month. With the 600th weekly Gold Report issue fast approaching, Tom O'Brien brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience to the gold market and the equities within the industry. That's almost 12 years since this powerful newsletter first began, and right now you can get a 30-day free trial to the Gold Report by visiting TFNN.com. Make sure you're a subscriber, as this volatile gold market provides trading opportunities after declining all the way from $1,900 to under $1,200 an ounce in only 2 years. Get your 30-day free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting TFNN.com.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. TFNN has just announced our first ever virtual trading competition, and we're giving away $10,000 in cash prizes, and it's free to enter. Sign up by Thursday, September 5th at noon Eastern, and the trading competition will take place the following week, Monday, September 9th, with first place winning $3,000. Don't delay, as you won't be able to register once the competition begins. Sign up now and reserve your spot in TFNN's $10,000 virtual trading competition. To sign up and for all the details, log on to TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzamento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back. Happy Friday, people. We're talking about all kinds of great stuff here, and wanted to share some information that came out why mammography is unscientific and harmful. This came from Green Med Info, and I kind of feel like this is a good time. You know, we're going to be talking a lot next week in the newsletters. There's going to be a lot of information about radiation. You know, we're talking about radiation that's in the environment, but also radiation that we may choose to expose ourselves to. You know, we're a news station, so I feel like we can talk about different things. It's always really up to you. You know, we neither one of us are medical practitioners, but we want to share that based on, you know, some of the information that we share. You know, may or may not agree with you. It's really up to you to do your own research. But, you know,
mammograms never made sense to me anyway. You know,
well,
putting your breast into a device and, you know.
Well, we know that radiation is cumulative, okay? But, you know, a comment was made. Here's a quote. The interaction with the unaccountable, self-regulating business called modern medicine is not analogous to buying a used car from a stranger. You never really know what you're getting because of the things you're not being told. And what is not being disclosed can seriously hurt you. And that comes from Rolf Hefty, The Mammogram Myth, the independent investigation of mammography the medical profession doesn't want you to know about, 2013.
Because this is a big money stream. I mean, automatically every year you're going to get your breasts smashed, and they're going to say, hey, it's either okay, or when they say there's something there, we got to investigate, we got to take it out.
Well, let me tell you what the next step is.
What?
The next step is they will do an ultrasound, and then they may take you to an MRI. What my personal belief is, and what I have chosen to do for myself, is I use thermography. I use thermography because it will detect changes at a much earlier rate.
Okay.
But the hospitals have a tremendous investment in these mammography machines, and they don't like that. You have to look at your own options on what you would do. Better yet, if you still, are going to buy some of the ways they put down thermography, maybe you just want to start getting an ultrasound. If that's the next step, why don't you just skip the radiation and use the things that don't hurt you?
To me, yeah.
And look at it that way. Remember, your insurance is going to endorse and pay the mammogram, but would you still have a mammogram if you knew that many, if not most, breast cancers detected by screening with mammography are non-cancerous? Breast cancers are non-cancerous. Practically all non-cancers get treated with biopsies, surgery, radiation therapy, and other orthodox cancer treatments. That means that a lot of women are getting unnecessary treatment. Primary tumors tend to spread and metastasize predominantly after a person receives surgery, radiation, or chemotherapy, or biopsies. I like to think of the dandelion, when the little pieces go out, the dandelion bloom. Early detection of breast cancer by mammography does not decrease or the mortality rate, because the orthodox theories on cancer progression from early to advanced stages rest on flawed research and erroneous medical dogmas. Mammography increases total mortality. Well, that makes sense. Anytime you're increasing the ionizing radiation that is cumulative, that's a bigger body burden. Wouldn't we agree? A single mammogram can cause severe complex DNA damage, the type of genetic injury that increases the risk of breast cancer. Someone like myself, this is what I've chosen to think for myself, is why would I want to cumulatively increase radiation when we know that radiation is a cause of cancer? It just doesn't click with me.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
The lowest possible dose of ionizing radiation increases the risk of cancer, and medical x-rays are probably the principal cause of breast cancer.
Wow.
This list goes on and on, guys.
It's also, we have the same thing with the cholesterol myth, and we have the same thing with the HPV. We're getting a lot of conflicting things, and you kind of just have to make up your own mind whether you're going to actually get injected with different things, or have these examinations, or worry about your cholesterol being, the right number.
This is why we're here, guys. Though we're here to help you vet it out.
Yep.
Really, the truth is what it is for you. And you have a right to know there's choices, and that's what we're here for.
See you next week, folks. Thanks a lot for sticking around. Thanks for the call, Al. We really do appreciate getting those calls and all the emails and everything else. Okay.
See you next week.
We're out.
What's the one thing that pulls people back from the breakthrough that they're moving towards? What's the only thing that really stops people from taking action? You and I both know the answer, and sure, we can come up with the reasons why we're not where we want to be, but the only reason that we don't do more with our life is fear. Or if you're an overachiever, call it stress. Simply put, there's something that happened to us in our past that's holding us back from the life we deserve, yet you and I are okay, we're here. So why should we let our past control our future? Exactly. We shouldn't. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and when it comes to your trading and investing, I can help you overcome your fear of loss. Together, we'll turn weakness into strength with a system I've developed called Mastering Probability. I'll teach you how to make your money work harder for you than you do for it. I'll teach you the tools that provide financial freedom. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com, click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and begin your journey of mastering probability risk-free. It's time to become a pioneer of your future versus a prisoner of your past.